because tomorrow is the State of the Union. I don't know who's going to
Very
suffer
clever.
through it. Probably just me and Lila, and we'll report on it. But I wouldn't watch it if I was you.
Oh
But
my
you know,
God. I mean, yeah.
I
Nothing's
can't
going to
wait.
happen. They're going to hop them up. It's going to be all scripted, and they're not going to let anybody get in there to do any protests the way the Bring the Ruckus crowd was supposed to
Yeah,
do. They should be
I
doing it.
I just really hope there's a part we can clip where the whole Democratic Party gets up and claps for shrinkflation. Like he's like, your Dorito bag is not going to have all the chips. It's going to
Yeah.
have more chips than it used to because they're packing in air. And then the whole Democratic Party gets up and goes, "Oh my God, fucking amazing."
Do you think they're going to have Cookie
Fucking
Monster
amazing.
there? Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster is
He's
this
gonna.
week's thing.
Do you think he'll be there? They're going to do some stupid stunt like that just to try to be funny. All right. Well, yesterday was interesting. We had Super Tuesday. 4 years ago, Super Tuesday was the last time I believed we had any democracy. I know it took me longer than most, but that really was my moment. Was 4 years ago, Super Tuesday. Lots of uncommitted showing up to destroy. I'm kind of going out of order. Is that gonna? Are you all right with that?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do show prep. Just
Okay,
push
all right.
whatever slide you want.
So I just think, I mean, 20% of Minnesota goes to uncommitted. They are going to get, I think, what is it, 11 delegates? I think 11 delegates just from Minnesota to the Democratic National Convention. That's amazing. Yeah. And I think they only started a couple weeks ago. They had a really small budget. I think it was like $10,000.
Yeah, and look, this is going to grow. I mean, it's not going to grow to where it's going to be, they're not going to win an election in a state, right? That would be amazing, though. If Uncommitted actually won,
that'd be amazing.
And then you could be, I would love to be that guy. I would join the Democratic Party again to become their delegate at the convention going, I cast my ballots to Uncommitted. They're not going to give somebody the mic to do that, but it's amazing. Like there was very little effort, just lots of rage and people tweeting about it. And that got over 100,000 votes Uncommitted in Minnesota.
Yeah. That's amazing. Wait, what was it? No, sorry. I'm sorry. It was 33,900. I just don't want, fake news.
No, the 100,000 wasn't in Minnesota. The 100,000 was in
last week, Michigan. Yeah, which was amazing. And they keep saying things like, well, there's always a healthy number of people for Uncommitted, but it's like a small percentage point. And now they are getting 11 delegates from Minnesota. I don't know. I know, Audrey, I think I saw you just asked about Michigan. I don't know. Oh, look,
it was
this the runs, and I can't verify, but runs too is
it was over. It cleared 100. It cleared 100 in Michigan. That's where I thought. And the M and Minnesota MN MI. I'm old.
Very confusing.
Glasses, I couldn't tell.
Very confusing.
Yeah, but let's look at how the polling is coming across here. We didn't show that yet, right?
No, we have not. Wow, amazing. In the bag.
But
slam dunk. If the 2024 presidential election were held today, who would you vote for if the candidates were Joe Biden and Donald Trump? This is from the New York Times Siena College poll.
Am I wrong? Like, I don't remember seeing "don't know" refused. Like, refused must be going up the ranks. Like, I'm not going to fucking tell you, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember refused being a thing that you saw all the time.
The thing that's also really interesting to me is they know, like, he's lost all the swing states, right? Like, there's this, I'm sure everybody here is mutuals with Benigma, Chuck. But this, how Muslim voters could shape Biden's chances. This is 5 of the swing states. Biden win margin is the dark blue, and the number of Muslims is the light blue. And his win margin from 2020 is a fraction of the number of Muslims, which, by the way, I mean, this is not just a Muslim or Arab American issue. This is a majority of the Democratic Party, I think a majority of the country, young people, Black voters, Democratic voters, leftists, of course. But there's it's not just Muslim Americans and Arab Americans at all.
But what that segment is, it's people that you're not going to win back. Like it shows you that no matter what effort you do, like if your family literally, if you know people that died over there because of Biden's policies, you can't shame them into voting for you. And
as much as they try.
and we'll show a clip. Well, do you want to show the clip now, or should we?
Yeah, let's show it.
All right.
What, the Whoopi one?
Oh, well, no, I want.
Learn to love.
Well, okay.
What?
First,
we should probably done a little more prep so we could be on the same page here, Pat.
Did we show the voter enthusiasm yet? Look at this one.
That's not a clip, but which comes closer to how you feel about Joe Biden or Donald Trump being the nominee for president? Enthusiastic. That's pretty much all you need to know. Honestly, they could just end it there. Enthusiasm, 23% Biden to 48% Trump. And that's just...
I repeat it every week, probably, but like common political knowledge, political science says how you win elections is your voter enthusiasm and how you do in the swing states and how you do with independents. Like those are the three things. But the swing states ultimately trump all this stuff.
Yeah.
And what they don't talk about on TV when, the clip we're going to show, maybe if someone gets their shit together, which is me, I got to get my shit together. But they talk, look, this time in 2020, we were getting all this talk about how Biden's got the swing states. No matter how bad things are doing, the swing states are pretty much leaning his way. And now he's losing every single swing state. Like you could show all the polls in the world, but if he's going to lose all the swing states, none of this other stuff is even relevant remotely. But they don't talk about the swing states anymore. They'll put a poll up once in a while, but when they have a whole panel of people debating things, they're never going to get down to, well, how are you going to change these 7 states where he's losing?
No, they never will. And they keep trying to do the general election, hoping those numbers are better. And now those numbers stink. So they can't even,
And even Biden himself, when they will quote a poll back to him, well, have you seen these other polls? We're looking at different polls because the polls got me moving ahead. Even when you find a positive poll for Biden, it's general election, which is not what decides. We are a state by state electoral college kind of voting system, and he's losing it, and no kind of talk is going to change that he's losing every swing state.
Well,
and so Biden is like a 50-50 shot, and maybe things will be a little bit better than that. Maybe we'll get all the way to 55-45 by November. Your lips to God's ears. But it's really disconcerting. So people think, well, there has to be something better, and there isn't. This is it. Joe Biden is the nominee, and you're going to learn to love it, America.
Jonathan, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
Learn to love it. Hilarious.
I love that they're all getting it. They're all like, yeah, we're fucked. There's no Democrats aren't going to win this thing. But
it's hilarious. Learn to love it in our democracy.
Shit sandwich.
Blame the voters. Always blame the voters. He would rather hang on to far right Nazi, basically, Netanyahu and his genocide, and hand this presidency over to Trump. Obviously, Democrats don't care, but that's where we are right now. What is hilarious? First incumbent president in 44 years to lose a primary. He lost American Samoa. Did you see that?
No. Is this breaking news here?
First, breaking news. Wait, I'm going to find it because I do think it's pretty funny, but now I can't find it. All right. Anyway, first incumbent president in 44 years. Jimmy Carter lost, I think, 12 states, actually, to Ted Kennedy in 80, and then was beaten by Ronald Reagan. But he lost American Samoa.
Who did he lose American Samoa to? Since I don't even
somebody who I think is from Maryland. Oh, here it is. No, I'm not. Look, Joe Biden loses to Jason Palmer in American Samoa.
Jason Palmer is my hero.
He's your hero, right? He's everybody's hero. Jason
He's probably
Palmer.
a right-wing Nazi.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably just like a, standard middle of the road corporate Democrat. It's like Dean Phillips kind of guy who, by the way, dropped out today.
Jason Palmer could be AI. I mean, Jason Palmer, that's
actually,
like not
God,
even a name.
That's
I would
so
vote,
funny.
We should all start writing in. Maybe Jason Palmer is a better choice than Uncommitted. Maybe we should get behind this.
Yeah, well, I think that's like the Dean Phillips guy. Yeah, but Dean Phillips dropped out, and I think Kirsten Sinema announced she's not running again. And that's where we go. Okay, let's see who's too old, because that's the other thing that they keep saying is, well, I mean, Donald Trump's old. No spring chicken. They're both old. It doesn't matter. Like, stop. You're not going to get Republicans on hypocrisy or on Donald Trump's age. They don't give a shit.
And there's this new round of stuff going around pushing that Trump also has, this is true, pushing that Trump also has dementia. Like, well, he's also got dementia, which, first off, no, he doesn't. There's a difference between Donald Trump. He's got his terrible antics. He's racist. He's a bad guy, but he does not have dementia. He does not. He forgets the silly shit. It's just silly gaffes. And if Biden's gaffes were just the dumb gaffes he's had his whole career, fine. But Biden, you use your eyes. Everybody can use their eyes. And when they see when people are on TV saying Trump's got dementia too, you have to really have bought into the blue Kool-Aid to go, oh, these are equally old people.
Right. Yeah.
And the
Biden was already
buying it, which is the point when you see that chart. Sorry. Yeah. But 73% of people don't think they think he's too old to be effective. Where only 42% think Trump is. So that 73% number, that's got to be like 30% Democrats.
You're just making that up.
I mean, yeah, of course, but it's like, but you can't get.
I just want to put that out there so I don't get tagged with your fake news label.
It's 33.7%.
99% of Democrats. No, it's disgraceful. Nobody wanted him in 2019. They didn't want him in 87. They didn't want him in 2008. Like, nobody wants him. And the only thing the Democrats have going, which the Supreme Court just screwed him on, is could they lock Trump up? Could they prevent him from being on the ballot? Like, how do we just, and that's all their focus is. And so much so that, we know Trump, what's his face? Biden's now going after Nikki Haley's people. Has he ever gone after his own base? The left wing of the Democratic Party? Has he ever made overtures? No. Do you remember when he became the candidate after, fucking Obama came out of his money cave and shut it all down? And they had that T-shirt, and it was crossing out not a Republican, I beat the socialists, not a, Bernie had millions of people volunteering for him, donating, coming to his rallies. Biden had 4 fold-out chairs in a high school gym that were empty, and you're going to disregard an enormous part of your base. Young people have left him. Black voters, Hispanic voters, leaving him. Some of them are going to Trump, which is crazy. Why wasn't this the moment that people figured out how to get our third party going? What a
we'll have that talk down the road. But maybe with Jill Stein, we might have Stein. We're hoping to get Jill Stein on here, but we obviously it's a missed opportunity, and a lot of people have a lot of anger at Bernie because the movement, the unity side of the movement fizzled out big time once he started co-signing Biden's policies. And he's doing that severely now. When you see him do it over Palestine, over Bernie's the chair of the health committee in the Senate. And on COVID, he's absolutely fucking useless. He held a long COVID summit or whatever you want to call it, where they all, they called in the experts a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But then what's he saying right now about the masks and the return to work policy?
I mean, has he said anything about this new CDC guideline?
No, I'm not saying he hasn't said something. If he said it, let me know. But I haven't seen anything from him.
Yeah, me neither. No, it's disgusting. Yeah, that's true. They do. They just keep running that. Actually, well, we might as well just say it now. We were waiting till the end of the show, but I am very excited. And, they're amazing. I'm very excited. I feel like if we could have all organized behind a third party, maybe it's not too late, but we are very excited. Can I just say it now? So that next week we will be,
no. Don't say it, Lila, or I'm done. I am done with this show.
I'm going to get the cane.
Drop this.
Next week, we're going to have the SCP presidential ticket, Joseph Kishore, and presidential candidate Joseph Kishore and vice presidential candidate Jerry White on our show next week. Very excited to welcome them on. The only candidates, because, I've been watching them quite a bit over this last, I think they announced 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, they go to rallies. They both have N95 masks on. Like, they take that seriously. They take the genocide in Gaza seriously. But, I keep seeing people, and listen, Jill Stein, I love her policies. I think they're great. And I don't want to disparage anybody who is, like 90% of everything I want. But like, I keep seeing people at her rallies, indoor rallies, hugging it, and nobody's wearing a mask. And it's like, I don't know. It's just really upsetting to know that everybody is just going to ignore the fact that we have this biohazard level 3 virus spreading with no precautions at all. And the only presidential ticket that's talking about it is the SCP candidate. So bravo to them. Very excited to welcome them on next week.
Absolutely. And kudos to them. Like, that alone is a reason to highlight them and get them out there in the world. Stein has been better on it lately. I think, we're seeing her pivot a little bit to that. But again, the only ones masking out in public right now are these guys. So kudos. I look forward to talking to them. Yeah,
me too. Absolutely. Yeah. Socialist Equality Party. I didn't see this fast enough. I'm trying to read it.
SCP, Lila. Right. SCP. I just saw that in the chat. I've been waiting for him forever.
Pat. Okay. Where are we now? All right. Well, this is just wildly infuriating for our blue California. This was yesterday. We had a chance, again, not perfect, but Barbara Lee, pretty great, running for Senate. And instead, there's Adam Schiff, who got 34% of the vote, which is just disgraceful. Both because he's a warmongering corporate Democrat, liar about Russiagate and every other thing. He's just a vile person. Yeah, go ahead. And what?
Well, no, they polled. This is basically the what's the strategy called in the Bernie thing? The Pied Piper strategy.
Yeah.
So they boosted Steve Garvey.
Yeah. If you gave money to Adam Schiff, he gave it millions of dollars of your money. If you donated to Adam Schiff to Steve Garvey, far right, disgusting GOP.
I gotta correct you, Lila, because these facts matter. His PAC did. So, but his own campaign strategically framed it. Every commercial from Schiff was an ad against Garvey. So that by the very nature of doing that, he created the opponent. So all the Republicans are like, oh, Steve Garvey, because Steve Garvey on his own didn't spend shit on this fucking election. He didn't put money into it. I mean, very little relative to what Adam Schiff had. And so the effect of it was to elevate. So they wanted a war between Schiff and Garvey and all of Schiff's campaigns, put it that way. And you see how close it is here. Now, he could actually lose the state and we could have Steve fucking Garvey.
Yeah.
And this stuff.
And it matters down ticket also, right? Because that gets more Republicans out. Exactly. Republicans are going to want to come out to vote for Steve Garvey. And
as a Democrat in California, you are not so concerned, even if you're a Democrat, about losing the state. So, Biden, enthusiasms are going to be low for Biden. And in California, where they still want Biden, it's still going to be low because Californians know Biden's going to carry the state. Right. So it's going to be a low voter turnout in California, which could end up getting Steve Garvey elected because the people who want to vote against somebody strongly are going to show up to vote.
Right.
They're not going to go, okay, I'm going to vote for Biden, and then they check all the Dem boxes and Adam Schiff wins automatically. Right. It's not going to be that way this time around. So we run the risk of doing the whole Hillary Clinton. That's how Trump won the election. That's how Steve Garvey became the fucking senator for our state.
And as this is from Jen Perlman, as she says, it's also going to get more down ballot Republicans in office, likely, because more Republicans will show up to vote because Steve Garvey, it will be a race between Adam Schiff and Steve Garvey.
It's the highest, like if you didn't have a senator on the list,
right,
you're down to local politics and, things that are less important to most people. So they're not going to come and vote for the local Republican. And so you run the risk of like
exciting the Republican base.
Slowly turning this state a little redder. You're going to turn it a little redder by this move he just did. Like for sure, the outcome of this, even if Adam Schiff wins, which he probably is still going to win, is we're going to have more local Republicans than we would have had he not chose this strategy.
And Democrats will be tripping over themselves to reach across the aisle to their friends on the Republican side in our blue state of California. And that will be the excuse for all the things they wanted to do and that they ran on not happening because they have to, compromise. I did also want to say, I just saw before we went to air that Jen Perlman has just announced that she is starting a campaign to run against Debbie Wasserman Schultz again in Florida for that congressional seat. So good luck to Jen. We'll have to try and have her come back on the show. It would be really nice to hear about her plans to unseat.
Before we get off Adam Schiff, I can't, how many times we have a chance to talk about Adam Schiff because he's such a loser. Nobody fucking cares.
Hope never again. Yeah.
But he literally in the Twitter files tried to get my parody account banned from Twitter. He and the DNC in separate emails were like, you got to get this guy off. You look it up in the Twitter files. That's this guy spending our taxpayer dollars, not just on promoting the Republican, but also making sure important things like my Twitter account don't exist.
He's really tackling the issues. He's lying about Russiagate and interference. And remember all the information that he saw that never materialized. And sending
but he didn't get me banned even. So he was feckless even then.
He couldn't even do that. And but that was where his attention
was should be able to get me banned. I mean, that shouldn't take a lot
of all right. I know we have more stuff, but I feel like we should maybe move on. I mean, unless there's what do you think? We've really
I don't think we have anything important. 2024 elections are so far from now.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster,
anything
Maloney.
Could happen.
I mean, we got the hair sniffing of a fascist.
That's the thing. He talks about the MAGA. That's his whole vibe right now. That's all he's running on. We got to defeat MAGA. Yeah. He's sniffing an actual fascist hair and arming a fascist genocide. So,
yeah. So, okay. What? So real quick, we're not going to touch. We have all these slides in the New Yorker article.
I know.
Please go read the New Yorker article, but understand it's framed. It's really a low key fluff piece on
Democrats
Biden.
Overall, yeah.
Overall, you leave the article thinking,
he accomplished so much.
He's a nice guy. He's just not good at politics. He makes some silly decisions, but his heart's in the right place, and because they don't talk about anything he does bad at all.
I'm the only one who ever beat him. I'll beat him again. But that's exactly. They're just saying,
The most newsworthy thing probably in the article against him is that he admits here, we've said this forever, Joe Biden has always been, he's a Catholic. He's personally, I'm against abortion, but because of politics.
Fought for the Hyde Amendment to prevent federal funding for anybody who provides abortion.
Yeah, but he's ultimately against abortion. So anyway, his quote was, I've never been supportive of, it's my body. I can do what I want with it. And then he goes on to back it up, basically religions agree with this little limited amount of abortion allowed. But, the whole thing they're running on is, well, at least Biden will veto. He won't sign off on an abortion ban nationwide. Are you sure? Even that, are you sure that if he won, it would be his last spout on earth?
He wants to go to heaven.
He wants to go to heaven as a devout Catholic. His entire life, he's been against abortion personally. He's made public comments like, that he didn't agree with the Hyde Amendment or the Roe versus Wade. He said it went too far. You don't know. He's not
your ally. Yeah.
The guy that literally lost abortion rights nationwide under his watch.
Yeah.
And
by the way, helped Thomas get on the Supreme Court, even though he didn't vote for him. But he is no friend to abortion rights or any.
Even if you take him at his word, he's not smart enough to not say this.
I know. God.
You're not smart enough to just hide this part. I mean, strategically, are they appealing to Republicans with this? I don't know. It's a terrible strategy.
I don't know. We're a big tent. Democrat. I don't know why I say we. I'm not a Democrat anymore. But you remember, we're a big tent party, and they went down the same time of the Dobbs decision to Nancy Pelosi goes down to boost Henry Cuellar, who is an anti-choice Democrat in Texas, when they had a progressive down there whose name Jessica Cisneros. Yeah. But I mean,
there's this. There's this. The emails came out that show that right before Roe was overturned, he was going to nominate an anti-abortion conservative in, I don't know what state, Kentucky. So this whole idea that
he's going to protect women's rights,
really going to protect
reproductive rights. Yeah.
No. He's not. I mean, maybe give him the benefit of the doubt. He would veto a nationwide abortion ban.
Great.
Okay.
Good job.
But that's.
Then he'd be like, well, listen, I don't want to be a dictator because, executive power and whatever.